Three frogs were sitting on a lily pad, and two decided to jump off. How many were left? Three. Because deciding to jump off is not the same as actually jumping off. This is the message of the gospel today, as Jesus tells us, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. Do we do the will of God? Or do we merely maybe think we do? Or do we decide, yeah, I'm going to make my life different. I'm going to follow God. And we make a decision. Well, deciding to do something and actually doing it is not the same. Everyone who listens to these words of mine and acts on them, Jesus says, will be like a man who built his house on rock. The rain fell, the floods came, the winds blew and buffeted the house, but it did not collapse. It had been built solidly on rock. And everyone who listens to these words of mine but does not act on them will be like a fool who built his house on sand. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and buffeted the house, and it collapsed and was completely ruined. How do we respond to the word of God? Perhaps it inspires our heart. It stirs up, yeah, I could do that. I'd like to do that. In fact, you know what? I think I am going to do that. But do we? The contemporary best-selling author Brené Brown, in her book Daring Greatly, has a section which she entitles Mind the Gap. Now, this comes apparently from a train in a train station where there's a small gap between the platform and the train, and they would put out signs to say, mind the gap, meaning don't catch your foot in between the train and the platform. That could be bad. Mind the gap. But Brené Brown uses this to say, mind the gap between what you think you are and what you think you believe and how you actually act. The gap is very important. I think a lot of us, me included, have a tendency to think we're pretty darn good. We think lots of good thoughts. We know the scriptures. We know what Jesus asked us to do. When it comes right down to it, most of us would probably say, yeah, I'm a pretty good person. I believe in Jesus. Maybe I even go to Mass. I listen to Sean the Baptist morning message in the morning. I'm a good person. Okay, well, those are all nice things to think about. But what do we do? Do we really live out the values that we espouse, that we hold? We have to be careful, brothers and sisters, because it's one thing to say, Lord, Lord, and profess Jesus. Maybe we even talk about Jesus. But if someone didn't have our words, if all they had were our actions, would people really know that we are Christian? I know it's cliche and we hear that all the time, but there's a truth behind it. Today, Jesus gives us a stern warning. You want a solid foundation? You want to build upon something that will last? Well, then it's got to be more than just words. Because to build on just words is like building your house on sand. It's nice for a while, but when stress really comes, where's your money going to be? Well, I think especially COVID time has caused all of us to have to put our money where our mouth is. We've said Mass is super important. We've said caring for our brothers and sisters is super important. I care about those less fortunate. I care about the Eucharist. I put my faith first. Well, what has COVID shown us? Now, maybe some of us have health reasons, but maybe it's just inconvenient to go to Mass. Maybe it's just too hard. Maybe taking care of people, well, maybe I'm afraid. I don't want to get near people who might be sick. Maybe we just avoid people that really we don't have a good reason to. Where's the gap in your life? Maybe we should even be grateful for the stresses that come, that push us a little bit to say, all right, now I really got to put my money where my mouth is. Do I practice what I believe? Mind the gap, people. Know at least where your gap is, and then if you're still sitting on the lily pad after long ago having decided to jump off, well, maybe now's a good time to actually go ahead and jump off. God bless you.